30 April 2015 marked the 70th anniversary of the suicide of Adolf Hitler in his bunker below the Reich Chancellery in Berlin. Eyewitness accounts collected by the security service following the end of the war provide a fascinating insight into Hitler's final days in April 1945. In this video, we're going to take a deep dive into Hitler's last days, followed by his death in his bunker. After the Soviets falsely claimed in June 1945 that Hitler's remains had not been found and that he might still be alive, rumors and sightings of Hitler spread across Europe. In response, Allied officers interrogated Hitler's personal staff to confirm his death. British intelligence officer and historian Hugh Trevor Roper investigated these accounts, ultimately publishing his findings in The Last Days of Hitler in 1947. The interrogations focused on the final days of April 1945, as the Red Army encircled Berlin and artillery fire echoed through the Führer bunker. In January 1945, as Russian forces advanced and Allied bombings devastated Berlin, Hitler retreated to his bunker. By mid-April, 2.5 million Soviet soldiers surrounded the capital, closing in on Hitler's refuge. On the night of April 28th to 29th, Hitler dictated his will to his secretary Traudl Junge and then married Eva Braun. Following a brief ceremony witnessed by Josef and Magda Goebbels and Martin Bormann, a subdued celebration took place. Hitler spoke nostalgically about the past, acknowledging the war was lost and expressing his intention to avoid capture by taking his own life. The grim atmosphere left some attendees, including Gerda Christian, deeply unsettled. Preparations for death. On April 29th, Hitler and his bunker staff learned of Mussolini and Cloretta Petacci's execution, strengthening Hitler's resolve to avoid a similar fate. He ordered preparations for the end, including the destruction of personal papers and the poisoning of his dog Blondie and Eva Braun's spaniel. That afternoon, Hitler bid farewell to his staff, offering words of thanks and encouragement. By the next morning, with Russian forces closing in, Eva rejected the idea of escape, preferring to die alongside Hitler. Hitler provided poison capsules to his secretaries, expressing regret that he had no better parting gift. In her final words, Eva gave her fur coat to Traudl Junge as a keepsake. Later that afternoon, Hitler shot himself, and Eva took the poison capsule, ending their lives. Disposal of the bodies. After Hitler and Eva Braun died, their bodies were carried to a small garden outside the bunker. Hitler's driver recalled Eva wearing a blue silk dress with cork-heeled shoes and artificially blonde hair. Goebbels, Bormann, and others poured petrol over the bodies and set them on fire as Russian artillery echoed nearby. A guard, unaware of the others' presence, initially believed the bodies had spontaneously combusted. The remains were later buried in a shallow bomb crater. Soviet troops exhumed them, and in 1970, the KGB claimed to have destroyed Hitler's body. However, fragments of his jawbone and skull were preserved and displayed in Moscow in 2000.